All right, what is up, everybody? We just got back from completing Ironman 2022, Woodlands, Texas, and it was absolutely amazing. So I want to talk to you today about my experience completing my second full Ironman triathlon race, what I've learned through the entire process, training for these races, my big takeaways, my mindset shifts, and I want to give you that information so that you can go out there and crush whatever goals you are currently working towards. All right, so we just got done checking in Ironman, Texas, baby. Woo. And it's calm out right now. This is like perfect. Come on, like, baby.
Love you, crush it.
Mom and Dad. Let's go, baby. First off, kind of my Ironman journey. It started way back when I was a little kid and I saw on TV people that were stumbling across the finish line, crawling to make it across the finish line. They just looked like they were dying. And I asked my parents, hey, Mom and Dad, what is going on? Why are these people, trying so hard to cross the finish line? Why are they collapsing? And they told me that these people were just about to complete a full Ironman triathlon, and it was one of the hardest races in the world. For those of you that maybe do not know, it is a 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike ride, followed by a 26.2 mile run. And so I'd never been into ultra endurance sports growing up. My background is in powerlifting, bodybuilding, functional fitness. I did have a goal that by the time I was 30, I wanted to complete my first full Ironman. And so fast forward to, turning 30, I was in Barbados with a really good friend, and we were on a surf trip. And we got off the plane. First thing we did was go straight to the surf break, go into the water, paddled out. I was on my paddleboard actually, and the waves were way outside my comfort zone. So I'm talking double overhead. I was in the wrong spot, just in the break zone. Massive set comes in. I just get completely pummeled. My leash snaps on my paddleboard. Paddleboard gets taken into shore. I'm continually getting pummeled, and there was a huge riptide that we didn't know about. And so the riptide was bringing me down the coastline into a bunch of rocks in a cliffy area. And after kind of that near-death experience and 3 beers deep, I signed up for my first full Ironman triathlon when I was in Barbados, and that was kind of the start of my Ironman journey.
Rock it in, guys!
Woo! Baby! We just did the longest run yet in Ironman training. So, 7 miles in, 2 minutes left, baby. The first thing was hiring back my Ironman coach, okay? Like when you're going into a big event like this, I think the number one thing you can do to make sure you have success is have a coach, have somebody that is helping you along the way, that you can bounce ideas off, and who is an expert in that field. And so I wanted somebody that has my back and can program for me and give me the best coaching advice going into that race as possible, and that made a massive difference. The second thing was we actually did heat training. The first Coeur d'Alene race, 105 degrees, absolutely no heat training leading up to it, just getting thrown into that. This time we knew Texas was going to be hot, and so we got prepared for that. We would go on runs and then go straight into a sauna session, straight into an ice bath session, and we were getting my blood, we were getting my body used to overheating, used to being put in an environment where it's going to be stressed out by heat. Nutrition and hydration was completely different for me in this race as well. So first Ironman race, I didn't think that I needed to eat as often as I really needed to. And so there was a ton of times that I would hit the wall, I would bonk, I would cramp up, and I knew I was low on nutrition. So going into Ironman Texas, basically my plan was just to constantly keep feeding myself, keep eating, keep intaking salt pills, keep hydrating. And basically my rule is if I can't remember the last time I had something to eat, then I'm in trouble. And so every single pit stop, every single aid station there was, I was just fueling and just throwing in as many calories as I could. And that made a world difference on my performance. Another big one here was my pacing of my actual race. And so Ironman Coeur d'Alene, after I got done with the swim, I was just so excited that I made it through the swim and I survived the swim that when I hopped on my bike, I just went 100% out of the gate, full bore. And by mile 50, I was absolutely toasted. Like my legs were not working anymore. And so the goal for Ironman Texas was to pace the bike. Like I was also tracking all my stats this race compared to last race where I was tracking nothing. And so I would look at my heart rate on my watch. I would try to keep it in the 140 to 150 range. And if it was going over that, I knew I was exerting too much energy and that I was going to be burning out and wasting all my glycogen stores, my ATP. And if I kept at that pace, I would get to the run and have nothing left. And when we got to the marathon, we could run the marathon and not have to walk and just try to get through it. I had a lot more confidence going into this Ironman than I did all the Ironmans before. And so my mindset going into this race was that a happy athlete is a fast athlete and you just need to have fun. Like racing is a celebration of all the hard work you've put in and all the training you've put in. And if you're not having fun while you're racing, then you're not doing it right. And so I went into this race with just a really good mindset of, hey, it doesn't matter how fast you go, how well you do, you're just racing against yourself, and you need to be having fun while you're doing that. One of the reasons why I think it's good to have these big, dramatic goals like this is a concept called delayed gratification. Things that are the most rewarding in life take a long time to get, and the things that are the most rewarding take the most effort, the most sacrifice, but in the end, when you get that thing that you've been working for and that's taken you 5 years, 10 years to get to, it is the best feeling in the entire world. Training for a triathlon builds character, and I believe it gives me the skills that I need in life to basically succeed at whatever I want to do, and it breaks mental barriers that you have about yourself. So when I go and I race in an Ironman and I see that the oldest dude is 82 years old and he's still going out there and completing a 140.6 mile race, it breaks the impossibilities that I have about what's possible with the human body, and it just gives me a whole new perspective on what we're going to be able to accomplish out there.
You're crushing it.
We're having a baby. Let's go. I guess we feel strong. Way to go. Way to go.
So I think, the Jake before Ironman training, before I completed my first full Ironman race, I would say my dedication, my work ethic, all that was really good, but it wasn't to the point of where I wanted it to be. And so by training for that first Ironman, it's basically like a full-time job, right? You're putting in 20 to 30 hours additional training per week with transportation, getting to the pool, all that stuff. And so you have to condense everything down into a smaller time frame throughout the day. You have to schedule all your tasks out if you want to be able to do all the things you're currently doing, but add in Ironman training. And so it allows you become way more efficient with your time, you become way more resourceful, you figure out what really matters to you in your daily life and what things don't matter to you, and you can cut out where you're wasting time. Because when you have that that full-time job of training for an Ironman, you don't want to be wasting any time throughout the day. When I am training for an Ironman, everything else actually gets better, not worse, which is very surprising probably to a lot of people. One of my favorite parts about right after you finish an Ironman is when you come back to regular life, everything just seems easy. Okay, like everything seems easy. Like you finish that 140.6 mile race and you come back to work, or you have to get up early to go to work, and you're like, usually you're stressing about that. You're like, man, I don't want to get up this morning. And life just seems easy because you have such a bigger threshold for challenges and overcoming those challenges that, yeah, the little things that stress most people out are not even gonna phase you or affect you. Kind of my last big takeaway for anybody watching this video is that you might have a big goal out there, you might have a race or just something that you're wanting to accomplish that you haven't put out into the world yet. You need to go do that thing, whether it's a race, whether it's starting a business, whether it is some sort of coaching program, because the thing is it's never going to be perfect, okay? The Ironman race I just did was nowhere near perfect. There's something you want to do, but you're scared of it. You just need to just go for it. Just know it's not going to be perfect and that you're going to learn a ton in the process. But from there, you're just going to get better and better and better the next time you do these things.
Yeah, buddy! Yeah!
Okay, thanks for checking out my Ironman story. I hope it inspires you to go out there and get after that one thing that maybe you've been putting off, but you've been wanting to sign up for or just go 100% into. We are back to making videos, baby. So if you have any comments, questions about Ironmans, anything else in the fitness world, comment below, and we will see you on the next video.